For over 30 years, the Oregon School for the Deaf has been crafting the Nightmare Factory, a yearly house of horrors welcoming brave guests each October and then sending them home crying. Unfortunately for me, I was invited inside to see how it all comes together. But if I don't make it out, tell my kids I love them. We're traveling the state to find the weird and wonderful jobs people do. I'm Corey Jenkins, and this is Oregon Odd Jobs. The Nightmare Factory is a student, faculty, and volunteer-run haunted house. But this doesn't all come together at once. The work on it doesn't start and end in October. It's a year-round school project. It was mid-July, and the haunt was already starting to come together. Today was a summer workday, and volunteers were scattered throughout, working on various projects to meet the October deadline. I got to sit down with Ed, the founder of the Nightmare Factory, and find out exactly how this all came to be.
I grew up in California and was involved in haunted houses down there. And then when I moved up to Oregon, there was none. So I went to the director of the school at the time and said, hey, let's do a little haunted house fundraiser. Brought in some students and we built a haunted house upstairs in one wing of the dormitory here. It made a couple of grand. And it's just been going ever since then.
I mean, the kids are learning some really good stuff.
We use this as a tool for them to get their kind of hands into it and learn how to build, construct, paint. These kids can do this. And oftentimes I'll be out back listening to people coming out saying, this is a high school haunted house? This is a school haunted house?
And you gotta admit, it's pretty fun to watch people get freaked out.
I love it.
My first job was in the catacombs, where these walls of insulation foam get transformed into a jagged rock face by Keith here. But how do you do it?
I used hot wire.
Hot wire?
Yeah, it's the brand name.
So you're just like
So
carving
you're basically melting it, yeah.
Oh, wow. Thankfully, at this point, the carving was already done. So at least I didn't have a chance to mess it up. But in order to get it from this to this, it was going to take some paint. A lot of paint. Cue the montage. Okay, so this isn't actually the wall we were working on, but you get the idea. So I let Keith finish off his work, while I found another corner of the haunted house that needed help. Here I am with Claire, and we are distressing pumpkins.
That's right. That's
Nice.
right. To distress it, I'm using wood stain, and then I just have black and green paint for the mold.
The carvings were done by the students themselves. However, they just look too pristine for a haunted house, and it was Claire's job to muddy them up.
You're basically adding depth when you add the shadows to the ridges, and then I like to add splatter. So, you basically you splatter it. And then mold, right? You need a little mold.
Oh, details.
Yeah,
Can I try one a little bit?
absolutely.
With myself in the hot seat, it was time to make this pumpkin look bad.
The more weird and blotchy it is, the better, right?
Yes. Yeah!
Yeah,
Oh, I'm purposely not flicking it towards you.
it's totally fine. I'm covered with paint.
With a little mold for good measure, the pumpkin was complete. Okay.
Beautiful.
No,
I mean,
you know what?
horrible.
I'll take that. Horrible. Disgusting. It's a good thing that we were doing all of this in a well-ventilated room, because our next task involved a bit of chemistry.
Time to make some skulls. It's a pretty simple process once you learn how to do it.
Basically, these two chemicals combine, creating a reaction and causing the concoction to expand and harden inside the mold.
So we're going to make sure we get all the sides because this will expand outward and upward.
Okay. Once the reaction started, we covered it and weighed it down. And after about a half an hour, we had a brand new skull.
There we go.
Oh, look at it. Look at that. Whoa.
There you are.
Look at that. It was time to let the volunteers toil away on their projects without my interference. So I headed off to talk to some of the administration and find out what makes this school so special.
Well, we're the only state school where everyone actually uses sign language. Our students are actually from all over the state of Oregon. We function like a regular school. We have sporting events. We have full access to all the various labs and activities, including Nightmare Factory.
It was obvious the Nightmare Factory was important, but I couldn't help but wonder why scaring people had become such a core part of the school.
Often people, think the Nightmare Factory, that it's all scary, but honestly they overlook, I think, behind the scenes, the skills of the business aspects and the marketing and the customer service. There's different hats and different roles that you can take on while you're working in the Nightmare Factory, and those will apply to future jobs.
But it is fun to scare people.
Yes, it is. I won't lie. Yeah, it is. Of course. Of course.
The proceeds from the Nightmare Factory also benefit the school and are used in various ways for the enrichment of the students.
For example, like robotics, some of the students want to learn coding for robotics, or for field trips. For example, the middle school group actually went to Washington, D.C. The activities, it pays for some of sports, clubs. I mean, everything really, the students, that would cause further enrichment is really what the money is used for.
October arrived before we knew it, and the finishing touches were being made. The pumpkins were in the pumpkin patch, the catacomb painting was finished, the skulls were adorning the walls, and in the center of it all was Rose, the dean of the Nightmare Factory. On any given night, how many scarers do you have in the maze?
Oh, ranges from 9 to 20, 30? Yeah.
So many people to scare you. That's lovely. So how do you keep guests as well as the students who are working in the maze, how do you keep everyone safe?
We have cameras everywhere so they can see where a group is, and we can make sure that we follow them. If a child was missing or something, we know exactly where they were. And it's hard to hide from us, but we can always see you, so just remember that.
All the cameras feed into these monitors, 2 identical sets, so there are always eyes on everyone in the maze. The monitors also help with communication. Given that many of those working in the maze are deaf, a visual means of communication is not only important, but necessary. There are also plenty of exit signs throughout, and back corridors in case of emergencies. Not to mention big yellow buttons that can be pressed to alert everyone of a problem. But what I really want to know is, how do you not get punched as a scarer?
We practice. Our actors practice to be knowledgeable of scaring and allowing them a response time. Because sometimes it's not what you expect, and you don't want to get punched in the face or anything, so you scare and then give them a little bit of wiggle room, right? Give some space.
Tonight was a dry run before the doors officially opened. After a safety briefing, the actors were busy picking out their costumes, while Rose gave me a special tour of the maze, during which she took every opportunity to scare me. Oh man, I gotta find my... Ah! Rose! Ah! Ah! I'm so embarrassed. Well, at least now I knew a bit of scaring technique, which was good, because tonight I got to be a scarer too. We had invited a few friends and family to give the scarers some practice, and I was most anxious to scare my wife. With my costume on and my makeup applied, the only thing left was to lie in wait until my big moment came.
What was that?
It's me! As I relished in my successful scare, there was just one more person to talk to. Charla, what would you like the general public to know about the Oregon School for the Deaf?
I would love if every family who has a deaf baby considers what the future would look like for that baby. We are the resource. right? We're the resource for those parents. And if they met us and they learned American Sign Language and saw the successful adults have done, that are working here, that go on and leave the school and, you know, go to the universities and, you know, continue with their lives, and they're very successful. So, you know, I want families to be welcomed, you know, warmly here, and I want them to see that the future looks bright for their deaf child. And with a partnership with us, they will be successful.
In light of all that, as the Nightmare Factory opened for the season, it made even this guy seem oddly heartwarming, knowing that the thrill he and others provided each October helped so many students and families across the state. Still though, I wouldn't get too close. See you next time on Oregon Odd Jobs.
Yeah!